Chapter 24, A Reply. "Bat," said Mr. Grayson as the students filed into the classroom, "you got an email from Dr. Jerry DeGrew." "He wrote back?" Bat asked, his heart beating faster. There were only a few days left until Thor was supposed to go to the rescue center, and he had almost given up hope. "What did he say?" "You can read it at recess," Mr. Grayson said. "It's a nice email." "I want to read it now." All the other kids were at their desks, but Bat was still standing in the aisle. He felt his hands pull up tight against his sides the way they did when he was excited. "At recess, Bat," said Mr. Grayson. Bat hated waiting. He hated waiting. It was stupid to wait for something if there was no good reason that it couldn't happen now. Who cared if class started a few minutes late, if it meant that he could read his email? A real-life skunk expert had written to him. That was certainly more important than anything Mr. Grayson had planned right now. Had a real-life skunk expert ever written to Mr. Grayson? Almost certainly not. "Mr. Grayson, I think you should let me read my email now," Bat said. "Bat," Mr. Grayson answered, "sometimes we have to wait. It's good practice to delay gratification." Bat didn't really know what Mr. Grayson meant by that, but he knew it meant that Mr. Grayson wasn't going to let him read the email right now. He wanted to insist, and he would insist if he thought it would change Mr. Grayson's mind. But Mr. Grayson looked serious, so Bat reluctantly went to his seat. "Too bad," said Israel, putting down the book he had been reading. "Don't make fun of me," Bat yelled. "Whoa, dude," Israel said. "I wasn't making fun of you." "Bat," said Mr. Grayson, coming over to his desk, "what on earth is the matter?" "Israel was making fun of me," Bat said. "I was not," said Israel. I just said it's too bad Bat can't read his email right now." "You don't really think it's too bad," Bat said. He kept his eyes on the surface of his desk, running his gaze over the wood grain. "You don't know what I think, Bat," said Israel. "You don't know everything." "Bat," said Mr. Grayson, putting his hand on Bat's shoulder. The weight of his hand felt good. It helped Bat to feel like he was sitting in his seat, like he wasn't going to fly away. Try to give Israel the benefit of the doubt, okay? If he says he was being sincere, believe him. Bat nodded, but he didn't look up. Israel went back to his book. "For what it's worth, Bat," said Mr. Grayson in a quieter voice, "I think Israel was being kind. I think he'd like to be your friend." Then Mr. Grayson took his hand off Bat's shoulder and returned to the front of the room. Now Bat wasn't just thinking about the email from Dr. Jerry DeGrew. He was also thinking about whether Israel wanted to be his friend. He thought about how Israel had asked him if he wanted to play Foursquare, and how he had said hello outside of the sugar shack. Then he thought about the other kids in the class looking at him right now. And he thought about Thor's eyes. And he thought about the windy day outside. It was too much to think about all at once, and his skin began to feel prickly and too tight. But he couldn't take off his skin. So instead, he reached into his backpack for his earmuffs and slipped them on. The classroom noise around him faded, and Bat's skin calmed down. Bat looked at the clock above the classroom door. It was 8:55. Recess was at 10:15. That was exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes away. He could wait that long. He didn't like it, but he could do it. Time was a funny thing. Sometimes an hour and 20 minutes didn't feel very long at all. Like when Bat was watching YouTube videos about animals. And sometimes, like when Dad was watching baseball on TV, an hour and 20 minutes felt like 20 years. But that day, the hour and 20 minutes between 8:55 and 10:15 felt like 20 baseball games. At last, Mr. Grayson said, "Okay, gang, go play." The kids shoved back their chairs and headed for the door. Bat pulled off his earmuffs and went to Mr. Grayson's desk. "It's recess," he said. "Yes, Bat, it sure is," said Mr. Grayson. He opened his laptop. "Can I read the email too?" Israel asked. He hadn't gone outside with the other kids. "Why?" asked Bat. "Because I'm curious. You've been talking about Dr. Jerry DeGrew nonstop." That wasn't true. Was it? Maybe it was true. "Okay," said Bat, "but no making fun." "I wasn't making fun before," Israel said, "and I won't now." "Here you go, gentlemen," Mr. Grayson said. He clicked on the top message in his inbox. The subject line was, question about a baby skunk. Then he stood up so that Bat could have his chair. "When you're done reading the email, just close the laptop and come join us outside," he said. Then he headed out to the playground. Bat sat down. He could feel Israel standing behind him, reading over his shoulder. The email read, "Dear Bat, I am very interested in skunks, as you know. I can tell that you feel very attached to the kit, and I don't blame you. Baby skunks are adorable. But the question of whether you should keep him as a pet is a complicated one, even if your mom feels reasonably sure that he is disease-free. All pets require a huge commitment of time, energy, and usually money. Skunks are no different. In fact, keeping a skunk as a pet is much more challenging than keeping a dog or a cat. Skunks are not pets by nature. They are wild animals. And from many years of experience, I can tell you that most people don't know what they are getting into. It's very easy to fall in love with a baby skunk, but it is difficult to truly be a good caretaker to a skunk. Most people would be better off with a dog. Still, this skunk kit has come into your life, and for at least the next few weeks, you and your mother must work to be the best caretakers you can be. Should you keep the kit? Should you give him to the rescue people? I don't know the answer because I don't know you, and I don't know your kit. But it sounds like, for now, the kit is right where it needs to be, and I trust that you will take good care of it. Sincerely, Jerry DeGrew, PhD. DeGrew Institute for the Betterment of Skunks and Skunk Reputations. "That's too bad," said Israel. "What's too bad?" asked Bat. "That skunk guy doesn't think you should keep the kit." "That's not what he said," said Bat. "Well, he didn't say that he'd tell your mom to keep him. He didn't say that skunks make good pets." "That's true," said Bat. "But he didn't say we shouldn't keep Thor either. He said that a good caretaker makes a good pet. So all I have to do is be the best caretaker in the world. and convince my mom to let me keep raising him. I can do that. Bat closed Mr. Grayson's laptop, absolutely determined to become the very best caretaker that a skunk had ever had. "Can I come over sometime?" Israel asked. "Why?" said Bat. "I don't know," said Israel. "To hang out and maybe meet Thor?" "It's okay with me," Bat answered. "I'll have to ask my mom." The end of chapter 24.